Hello and welcome to the Heart of Collaboration. I'm your host, Dr. Bernice, and this is the beginning, the kickoff of Local Artist Series. And the first guest is Brother Samuel Snacks Hawkins. And we're going to be talking about several different things that include the books that he has written and some of the work that he has been doing. And we're going to just touch on the Harlem Renaissance just a little bit and the Black Arts Movement just a little bit, just so that you'll know the time frame that we are going to be referencing through these next several weeks. And so welcome, Brother Samuel. That's what I call him, Brother Samuel. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay, good. I'm glad you could be with us today. I know you were coming from work.
Yes.
If you would tell us what you do.
I'm the program director at the Oscar Cross Boys and Girls Club.
Right here in the award-winning Paducah, Kentucky.
Yes, that's correct.
You want to give a shout out to your boss?
Yes, I do. Man, yeah, well, thank Mr. Clark, our new director. Got us on a new direction. We're trying to go from good to great. Appreciate giving the time so I could be here and share myself in a different way.
All right, so Brother Clark, you got a shout out. So we'll have you on the Heart of Collaboration after a while.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about how you got started, and then we'll work our way up to your 2 books and then get you to do some spoken word for us as well.
All right, that sounds good to me.
All right. Okay. Well, do you remember when you first decided that you wanted to do the spoken word, and then tell us a little bit about what that even means?
Well, yeah, I guess there's two times I started, I guess you would say. And the first one was for a selfish reason. I just wanted a girl to like me. You
wanted a girl to like you, so,
yeah,
so you knew that would impress her?
Not impress. I just was shy and I did not know how to express myself. And I thought writing it down would help. It didn't on the conquest.
It didn't.
But it led me to it led me to my purpose, definitely. Because then, you know, when it started coming, when I started writing authentically from the heart, I saw what it could do for not only me healing things I've been through, but what it could do for other people. That's when things definitely changed, when I saw how it affects people, definitely.
Well, now, I don't know who that young lady was, but she obviously gave you some motivation. So we want to say hello to you, the Phantom Girl. And do you remember how old you were?
Yes, I was 14. Yeah, I was sophomore in high school. That's when I have written when I was younger, but on a consistent basis. I would write, like, you know, several poems a day. I was just writing since 14. I would just write every day.
Did you know anything about the Harlem Renaissance or the Black Arts Movement at that age?
Somewhat. I did. I knew a hint of it, but I didn't know the details. And definitely as life went on, of course, just going to school and things like that, but just even life experience and catching the correlations that I read that didn't catch on, but, you know, just going through life, then I started to realize, because I mean the Black Renaissance was some time ago, but I mean it's still relevant today.
Yes. Claude McKay and W.E.B. Du Bois, and many other greats, and then of course Cab Calloway and a number of people, because the Harlem Renaissance was every genre, I guess you could say, of the arts, and it was so important. And it was during the 20s and the 30s, so we're looking at 20-year span of the Harlem Renaissance, and it changed a little bit when geographically things began to shift, and sociologically minds began to change about race and people and art and what people had to offer. And I remember in a high school and college how interesting it was that in all of the clubs the clientele were very diverse, because both blacks and whites were very appreciative of each other's art. And then those things changed. And then during, I think, 1965 through up until about 1975, for about a 10-year span, the Black Arts Movement was significant. And then that brings me to a lot of what you do when you do your spoken word, because you are a product, more or less, of the Black arts movement.
Oh, yeah.
Because much of your spoken word is politically based, is it not?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yes, and then to have begun so young and to continue, and you're still very, very young in this very, very old art form, so that it's very exciting always to see you perform. And I know that you have other young men, young women that you work with sometimes.
Yes.
And we're all very proud of you. And maybe somewhere down the line we might be able to get them on here with you and just have a stone cold jam of spoken word. Well, I tell you what, can you give us a spoken word, a piece right now, and then we'll just continue on in this episode?
Oh, yes, I'll go ahead. Man, all right, I won't waste too much time. But I really wish I could read the one that I wrote yesterday, but of course, I don't remember it that fast. But yeah, I'm gonna do America the Beautiful.
All right.
Definitely. Honestly, I didn't want to write this, but God planted a fuse in my heart, and the truth will ignite it, love will enlight it. Listen, this American dream is a birthday party with a Ku Klux theme, and everybody wasn't invited. The guest list, political policies, we need to rewrite it. Maybe then no riots, maybe then the aching hearts will quiet. Maybe then we can stand together again under a new anthem, flying united. But right now it feels like we're in a plane with no pilot. In the streets it's going down, but like that same plane filled with textbooks, I'm here to drop you some knowledge. Hope you hear me, hand over my heart, flag waving. Should I pledge allegiance or take a knee and file a grievance? Is it justice for all or justice for all who fall under a certain category? The justice system is quite fair if you have the money, power, and influence to fight it. Eric Gardner was strangled to death on a New York City corner for selling loose cigarettes. And who you think they indicted, huh? The cameraman. Like, Sway, I ain't got the answers, man, but for real, it feels like I'm in a dog park taking K9 gender surveys. Ain't that the whip to crack the back of our ancestors? I wrote this because my soul was restless. God bless the families affected. They paint your passing loved ones as thugs and drug addicts. Decency has been neglected. What a way to be disrespected. I've been infected. I found myself crying. And if I recall correctly, it's not my family members that are dying, but it feels like it is. True story. I started this poem 6 years ago for Trayvon Martin. Scrapped it. My brain said it was bandwagon source material. But how many isolated incidents until we call coincidence consistency? The plot thickens like Magic City employees. Please, someone help me understand why Sandra Bland never got a chance to take the stand. What was Tamir Rice guilty of in the first place? What? Looking suspicious? Does that deserve a death sentence? We should stop and take a moment and ask Emmett Till how he feels. I know some of you are tired of hearing these names and poems while I am tired of black fathers not making it home. Whether it's after work or after class, we're left with bullet holes, blood stains, and a body bag in the aftermath. And I ain't talking about Dr. Dre's rap label. Welcome to America, where a broken down car can be fatal. How many black bodies have to pile up until enough is enough? And we know Chicago has had it rough, but if Jerome kills Jamal, he's prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But if Officer Paul guns down Jerome, he just becomes another name in a poem. Shh. Can you hear the white silence and the violence? Our critics are beginning to sound like crickets, quick to critique and teach us how to protest, but Kate Upton ain't got nothing to say when an unarmed black man takes one to the chest. I guess the national anthem was playing too loud to hear the sound of our souls cracking like burning buildings. Our throats are fire escapes, screaming water, but they tell us to hold our ladders because all houses matter, even though ours is on fire. I guess we'll just have to wait until we're ashes just to watch Justin Timberlake gentrify our soul. I wonder if he worries about being filled up with holes. It's hard to stand for an anthem when you're being shot down, blood blooming like suicide roses on the ground. When we bleed together. That's solidarity. Apparently, there isn't enough empathy in this world to go around, and I know this isn't my story, not my narrative, but to speak up for those that can no longer speak for themselves, to feel their pain is imperative. So I hope you take it in. Yes, I hope you feel it like an empty water bottle. Because to find solutions, we must first acknowledge that there is a problem. Yes,
Outstanding. The Black Arts Movement was an escape for some. It was a foundation for others. It was a platform for many.
Yes.
And as a young man, you're standing in the shadow, so to speak, or you're standing on the platform, actually, of the Black Arts Movement, and you're in the shadow, I would say, shadows of the Harlem Renaissance.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Those names that you called, we've all heard the names, we saw the faces, read some of the stories, was exposed to some of the drama,
Yeah.
and of course, that which wasn't done that should have been done. And the political movement is one of every race and culture and ethnicity and creed and need. And our country, still the greatest country in the world, has a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah.
And the work that needs to be done comes in all colors and shades and hues. Oops, I almost wrote a spoken word just then.
I hear you.
Well, let's talk about your two books, because you are a writer, and writing is one of the genre, I guess you could say, of both movements and the continued movement for the arts. And tell us about both of your books and how they were birthed, and a little bit about what each one of them are about.
The first one, This Is Why Kids Want to Stay Up Late. It was it's almost just having to get it all out and wanting people to partake and create as well. Like it's wanting everybody to embrace their gift, whatever it is, creativity. You know, we're all creative.
And the title again?
This Is Why Kids Want to Stay Up Late.
Why Kids Want to Stay Up Late.
Yeah.
Boy, that's my story, the story of my life when I was growing up.
3 a.m. if you ask any artist, you're like, you ever been up creating at 3 a.m. You just got to get it out. They're going to be like, yes. And it's embracing that time, you know. Also just, I'm not even explaining it, but just, you know, and asking you to embrace that creativity and just get it out. Because we ain't here forever as well. So it's like, if you can do that, it makes the world a more beautiful place. And also when you do that, it puts you in the mind frame to receive. And that's my favorite thing about art, is it starts a dialogue in a place, a real place that everybody can relate to. It just opens doors, you know, emotionally. I mean, even the logic, the history, everything it brings in, it just opens the door of dialogue, and that's the part I love most.
Now, this is a book that could be enjoyed by both adults and what age range of children?
Man, the youngest that read, actually, recently, the youngest person who read it was 10 years old.
Yes.
She read it cover to cover. She paid for her own money.
She did.
And after she did that, I was like, you know what? I gave her the second book because she read the other one, talked to me about. I was like, she's like, I don't have enough money to buy a second when I do, and I was like, oh nah, I gotta give it to you. You don't read it cover to cover like that.
How about that?
And then the second book, The Greatest Story Ever Sold. Man, life's not always easy, and it's just about finding hope and also just hanging on to that hope when we find it, and also just recognizing that we all go through it, and when we can recognize that, you know, we're more empathetic towards people, and also we don't get down on ourselves, and giving people the courage to speak up, because your testimony is somebody else's light to extract them from the dark. And it's crazy, like your darkest moments is what shines bright for people to make them want to live again. I've heard testimonies that make me be like, I have no complaints, not even complaints, you know, stuff I might be going through is legitimate, but if they can walk through what they walk through, I can run head first into every single cross that I got, you know. It's like it gives me strength, you know. Your pain can be somebody else's strength when you just
absolutely
speak it.
When you wrote this book, the title again?
The Greatest Story Ever Sold.
Did you dedicate this to someone real special?
I did.
Who was
it's
that?
Dedicated to my granny.
Your granny.
Martha Hawkins.
Say that name again.
Martha Virginia Hawkins.
Miss
I'll say the whole
Martha
thing.
Virginia
Yes.
Hawkins.
Her clock was always stopped on heart to heart.
She was a remarkable lady.
Yes.
Now, she was one of the ladies I used to refer to as mommy. I had some mommies in Paducah.
Yeah.
Some have gone on to be with the Lord, and some are still here, and she was one of them.
Oh man.
Mother Hawkins.
Yes, she was a mother.
I call
to
her
many.
mommy.
Yes, and you were her daughter. She was.
Yes,
And
yes.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that you knew that. You knew I was one of her babies.
Oh yeah, she would like. That's what I'm saying. Like she was for real about it. You know, she was.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can only not even hope to be. I need to take steps to be more like that. She like true love. She expressed that for everybody.
And she was a stone cold fox too. That was a foxy woman. She
That's
was
true.
sharp every time I saw her.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Give us another spoken piece. Do you have one that's about women, or a little flavor about the woman's movement?
Man, you know what? If you don't mind, that makes me want to read one.
Come on, come on with it,
I
Brother
like
Samuel.
that. You got the books right here for
All
the
right.
request. This is called Rippling Sunshine. That's the first thing that popped in my head
All
when
right.
you said that. And it's about, see, you got me going now. You got me going. This is my element. I really am tempted not to read that one, even though it's, oh, yes.
Do I have to bleep it?
Oh, no, it's just, there's one before, actually, that I used to read all the time. It's called Rise. And they got the political element, too, so
Okay.
actually I'm going to do Rise. 'Cause
Okay.
this is, oh, yeah. Got me excited over here.
All right.
All right. Your heart's voice is sea. Rolling these thoughts like moonshine, tugging tides. Rise. Like praying hands calling falling stars from the other side, finding nullified lullabies buried beneath a church basement, burning, breathing, flames, swirling a signature of 4 little girls' names slain, September 15, 1963, but not in vain. Mistaken martyrs, a part of a necessary picture. So young ladies, think twice before you have to take suggestive pictures on Facebook, post it tagged. Soul vacant, heartbreaking, into pieces, release this popular persona of the Vicio girl. And don't forget the names of those that weren't given the dignity to be coerced but were rather forced to sacrifice. But you are beautiful and you should embrace that. So black women, you were perpetually powerful when you utilized your minds, so rise like an 1864 southern summer sun, yanking a sometimes weary but gracious morning sun, mimicking your angelic fingertips, birthing the sun of freedom, warm, burning, beautiful, and bright, you bittersweet color of coffee and of night. Your pupils, your beautiful pupils, carry constellations for shackled slaves searching southern trenches, surviving ash-stricken earth, southern lynches, longing, liberties, lingering, withering finger pointing northward toward glory's destination. And yet, post-emancipation, we are still facing segregation within our nations. Oh, so sufficient, no child left behind. Kiss my behind style of education. Advanced placement courses reinforces and further endorses the separation within race in relation to the social economic status and strata of minority families. And for those that haven't navigated the neurons through Sociology 101 and can't quite understand me or don't want to, quite frankly, we need to challenge all of our children and make sure that all of our children are wielding the proper reading and comprehensive tools conducive to their grade level. We are quick to quarrel overseas and watch our children bleed before we teach them how to read. I can do that one again. We are quick to quarrel overseas and watch our children bleed before we teach them how to read. But I can see you, like I can see Harriet Tubman with a revolver and her stars guiding her. I can see you with your pens and your pencils and those teachers leading this future. So dream huge and tell this world to make room and show it why the caged canary carries a tune like Maya Angelou and Sing Me Home. Addie Mae Collins, Carol Robertson, Cynthia Wesley, Denise McNair, Sing Me Home. Nikki Giovanni, Sing Me Home. Gwendolyn Brooks, Sing Me Home. Coretta Scott King, Sing Me Home. Zero Neale Hurston, Sing Me Home. Billie Holiday, Sing Me Home. Rosa Parks, Sing Me Home. Etta James, Ella Fitzgerald, and Aretha Franklin, Queen of Soul, Sing Me Home, because your heart's voice is C. rolling these thoughts like that moonshine, tugging tides. Don't be afraid to tell these little girls to rise. I like that.
My.
I haven't even revisited that one. That kind of got me.
Man, I got to remember that.
Man.
In this book that's dedicated to Mommy Hawkins,
Yes.
what are some of the points or the highlights in there that you'd like to share about this one? She was, now let me, while you're thinking about that, I want to say that Mother Hawkins was a quiet and yet very powerful presence. Fierce, yes, indeed, a lioness. And she epitomized many, many women of African descent, but she also epitomized the spirit of women, period. And when she had something to say, everybody listened. And when she had something to say, it had significance. And when you have to say goodbye to great women like Mommy Hawkins, you feel there's a missing piece, and nobody gets to replace the missing piece. And I'm going to leave that alone because I'm getting a little emotional about it myself, because she was just very important to me. But some highlights of this book that you dedicated to her, if you'd like to share.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the first being just that perseverance piece, and like and not having no fear. No pun intended, having no fear when telling your story. And I mean, even that's what a poem in there is called, No Fear. And it's about when I found out that it was different outside of Paducah when dealing with law enforcement, because I had a different perspective just being honest, being a black prominent athlete, your experience with law enforcement and your whole town is way different than the rest of the world. And not acknowledging that doesn't do, like I'm saying, it doesn't highlight some of the problems that other minorities face.
Right.
And then when I was put in a predicament, I was like, wait a minute. I thought things were a certain way. And then she gave me definitely inspired the courage to speak out. And that's like the biggest piece. Because especially my temperament and being a shy person, it's like, I don't know, I don't want to ruffle feathers, but if it's righteous and it needs to happen, it's not only for your own good, but also other people. And you got to keep that in mind. Even the first poem I shared was that same inspiration. It was like, I know this ain't my narrative, but that's not the point. If people are going through this, you know, some people don't get to talk about it no more. They're gone, you know. And the people that are still facing that persecution, you gotta be that light, and inspire other people, put them on fire, so we can, you know, light this world up together.
Exactly. And that's one of the lessons that we learned from the Harlem Renaissance and the Black Arts Movement. And we live in the essence, actually. I know those were movements and those were periods, those were eras, but the truth is we still live in the essence of the Harlem Renaissance and the Black Arts Movement. And in here in our hometown, we have a new young man, Nelvin. Have you met Nelvin? He's an arts and cultural coordinator for the city of Paducah.
Yes,
a remarkable person. He's going to do an episode. And we were talking about the power of both of those, you know, quote unquote movements that impacted all cultures, and that all cultures tie in. And this is my pet peeve. I just want everybody to know and to believe that all history is everybody's history. The parts you like and the parts you don't like. So you are the essence of the Harlem Renaissance and the Black Arts Movement for as long as you live, and then after you're gone, all of your work will still be the essence of both movements. We're going to have to end in a few minutes, but would you like to read that poem? Whoops, excuse me. Would you like to read that? That's okay, that's fine.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Would you like to share that?
Yeah.
when Nelvin and I were talking about the Harlem Renaissance and the Black Arts movement, his eyes lit up and mine did too. So I'm excited about him being here, and I'm excited about the impact that he will have even in your life as you
yes.
continue to do things in terms of poetry or spoken word. Maybe read one stanza of that poem, or any poem from that book for that matter.
Yeah, I will.
And then we're going to wind up in a couple of minutes.
I should be able to get to this one. Yeah, I'll just read this part, yeah. This is for a grandmother's pain. You think she's looking for vengeance? She's looking for love to refuel her heart's engines, holding the history of the thousands of lynchings. This is for the unmarked graves and the unset names and the unlocked chains wrapped around our brains, keeping us thinking the same. You think they saying Black Lives Matter for no reason? Huh? We've been singing that hymn on our heart since Emmett Till stopped breathing. That's why we in the street screaming, just let me be, just let me free, just let me eat, just let me reach, just let me walk down my own street, but I still chase chalk around my peeps and take these chains up off my feet and let me see my blackness as I define it.
Brother Samuel Snacks Hawkins. He is living in the essence of the Harlem Renaissance and the Black Arts movement. And he's very, very young, and he still has much to give. And so we want to encourage you to get involved in the different art forms. And you may even want to contact Brother Samuel at the Oscar Cross Boys and Girls Club. And we appreciate you allowing us into your viewing audience. And you stay tuned for the Heart of Collaboration as we continue our series on local artists.